It's recap time. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and this is not my usual intro. This is a bit of a special episode. Unfortunately, I will be away for a few days, and I found out this interesting way of filling the gaps with recaps from previous episodes. If this is your first time here, use it as an opportunity to find topics that you might be interested in and go back to listen to the original ones. If you are a usual listener of the Shower Podcast, well, again, this might be a rehearsal of topics that you might be interested in. Otherwise, I understand if you want to wait for me to be back. But in the meanwhile, the podcast needs to continue and we need to reach day 365. Having said that, I will not keep you longer. Thank you very much for listening. As always, a like and a subscribe. They are always welcome. And now, recap time.
Welcome to the deep dive. So you sent us some really interesting source material to dig into.
We did, yeah. 3 episodes from the Shower Podcast by a creator named Chip.
And you asked us to basically pull out the big ideas, the main concepts from his work on productivity and the creator journey.
Exactly, a quick distillation.
And we have to say right at the top, if you like these ideas, you should really go listen to the original episodes. Chip has this really unique and friendly style.
He really does. His whole tagline is, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. It's just very disarming.
It is. So consider this a friendly summary, but the full context is definitely worth your time.
Okay, so our mission is to move through 3 main areas from these episodes. First, his idea of the energy budget.
Right, how to make your work actually count.
Then, the shutdown ritual, which is all about how to stop working effectively.
A problem for so many of us.
And finally, we'll look at a more personal episode where Chip reflects on his huge 365-day challenge and what comes next.
Okay, let's unpack this.
First up is episode 347. Stop using your best hours on the wrong stuff.
And the premise here is so simple, but it really hits you. We all treat an hour like it's just an hour, 60 minutes.
But it's not. That's Chip's whole point. He argues that our energy is the real thing we should be measuring, the true constraint.
Yeah, my 9 a.m. hour is definitely not the same as my 3 p.m. hour.
Exactly. And if you spend that super sharp, high-focus morning hour on, say, just administrative stuff or clearing your inbox,
You've completely wasted.
you've wasted it. And he says you pay for it twice. Once, because the shallow work gets your best brain, and then again because the deep work you push to later gets a tired, fuzzy brain.
Which is where the science actually backs up this whole idea. This isn't just a hunch, right? It's rooted in chronobiology.
That's right. We're talking about your circadian rhythm, your personal chronotype. There's a chronobiologist, Till Ronenberg, who coined this brilliant term for it.
What's that?
Social jet lag.
Social jet lag. I love that.
It's that feeling when your internal clock is just fighting the schedule society puts on you. Your performance drops, your mood suffers. It feels like you're just, living in the wrong time zone.
We've all been there, trying to write something important at 3 in the afternoon when your body is screaming for a break.
Or the opposite. You wake up with a great idea at 5 a.m., but you have to wait for the workday to officially start.
So what's the pattern for most people?
Well, it's pretty consistent. For most adults, there's a strong cognitive peak a few hours after you wake up. Then comes that big slump, the post-launch lull in the early afternoon.
A dreaded slump.
Followed by a smaller, sort of less intense rebound later on. And sleep scientists confirm these are real biological drives. You can't just, willpower your way through them.
So if you can't fight it, you have to work with it.
Exactly. And Chip's advice for you is really practical. He says to run a simple 1-day energy audit.
Not a complicated spreadsheet, I hope.
No. Just get a feel for your own rhythm. Notice when you naturally want to do hard thinking versus when you're just looking for busy work.
And once you have that data, what do you do with it?
You start scheduling around it, you find your peak window, and you protect it. That time is only for deep work, the stuff that needs real precision, real focus.
That one project you've been putting off.
That's the one. But of course, the real world gets in the way. Meetings, family commitments.
Right, so what does he say about that?
It's not about finding a perfect 4-hour block. It's about protecting whatever you can control, even if it's just 90 minutes. You guard those 90 minutes like a fortress.
How do you do that? He talks about guardrails.
Yes, 2 of them. The first one is obvious. Turn off the notifications. Silence everything for that window.
Standard advice, but crucial.
But the second one is, I think, even more important. It's to prepare your very first step before the window even opens.
So you're not wasting that peak energy just figuring out where to start.
You got it. The act of starting, of deciding what to do first, It uses up so much cognitive fuel.
So you're bypassing that ramp-up cost.
And your best energy goes straight into doing the work, not preparing for it. Chip has this great analogy. He says, you're just letting the current carry the right boat.
I like that. And then the other parts of the day, the slump.
That's your afternoon valley. You assign low-stakes work to that time.
Yeah.
Don't fight biology. Do the filing, run the errands, or just take a walk and reset.
And the rebound later on.
That's for what he calls looser thinking. Brainstorming, reading, creative stuff where you don't need that intense, sharp focus.
It's such a simple shift, but it makes so much sense. Honor your energy, not just your schedule.
And that idea of honoring your energy leads us right into the second episode.
A perfect transition. So, we know when to work. Now, episode 348 is about how to actually stop. How to hit the off switch and not take the office home with you in your head.
Yes, this is the problem of the open loop. You close your laptop, but your brain, it doesn't have a close button.
Tell me about it.
Those unfinished tasks, the emails you need to send, the decisions you haven't made, they don't just sit there. They are active in your working memory, just pinging for attention.
And this is not a new problem, right? This is old psychology.
Very old. It goes back to the 1920s to a psychologist named Bluma Zygarnik. She noticed that waiters could remember complex orders perfectly until they were paid.
And then they'd forget instantly.
Instantly. Because the loop was closed. It's called the Zygarnik effect. We remember unfinished things far better than finished ones.
They get stuck in your head.
And modern researchers, Masacampo and Baumeister, they found the solution. It's surprisingly simple. Just making a specific plan for an unfinished task is enough.
Your brain doesn't need it to be done.
It just needs to know it's been handled, that it's captured, and there's a plan. The nagging stops.
And if you don't do that...
You get what another researcher, Sophie Leroy, calls attention residue.
Attention residue.
Think of it like having too many tabs open in your brain. When you switch tasks or end the day, a part of your mind is still stuck on the last thing. It's this low-level cognitive drain.
You're ruining your evening, and you're stealing energy from tomorrow before you've even woken up.
That's why Chip's shutdown switch is so powerful. It's a 10-minute ritual. The goal is simple. Close what you can and contain what you can't.
You're teaching your brain that it's safe to let go.
Exactly. And he breaks it down into 5 concrete steps.
Okay, what are they?
Step 1, a quick scan, anything you can finish in under 2 minutes. A quick reply, saving a file. Just do it. Close those easy tabs.
Get the quick wins.
Step 2, capture everything else. All the remaining loops go into one trusted place.
Yeah.
A notebook, a to-do list app, whatever. This is the promise to your brain that it won't be forgotten.
Step 3 is the key, I think.
It is. You set tomorrow's first move. And it has to be tiny and concrete. Not work on project, but open the draft and write the headline.
It removes all the friction for starting tomorrow.
And then, step 4, and this is the genius part. It links back to the last episode. You name the start time for that first move, and you put it squarely inside your peak energy window.
So your best task meets your best energy. That's brilliant.
The final step is just a physical cue. Put your notebook or a pen somewhere. You can't miss it in the morning.
And then there's the funny part, the verbal command.
The optional but powerful shut complete.
It sounds a little silly, but I can see how saying it out loud would actually work.
It's not theater. It's about creating a clear, hard boundary. You're training your mind to trust that the system works, that the workday is actually over.
And the payoff is huge. Your evenings are your own again, you sleep better, and you arrive at your peak time the next day with a full tank of gas.
Exactly. Your best minutes are unspent and ready to go.
Okay, so we've got the tools for daily productivity. Manage your energy, then shut down properly. But what happens when the work itself is a massive, year-long marathon?
Well, that takes us to the final piece you gave us, episode 350. This one's from Chip's Shower Diaries, and it's a look behind the curtain.
He's coming up on day 365 of his podcasting challenge, which is just...
Incredible.
It's a phenomenal achievement. And the biggest news is that he's officially concluding the obligation he set for himself. He announced he's taking a massive break with no promises whatsoever.
Wow, that's a huge deal.
It is, but it's a perfect example of his own principles in action. If you don't plan for real rest, you will burn out. He's realigning his own energy budget after this huge, sustained output.
It makes sense. And he's already seeing the possibilities that open up when he removes that daily deadline.
Absolutely. He mentioned that the structure can change completely. And more importantly, the length and the effort he can put into each episode can go way up.
So quality over quantity now.
That seems to be the goal.
Wow.
And he was also really honest about some of the things that didn't work this past year.
Like what?
He really wanted to have a guest or a co-host on the show, but it just never came together. That's tough. Collaboration is hard.
He was very open about it.
Yeah.
He said it was a mix of his own lack of organization and just the difficulty of coordinating with other people on such a tight schedule. It's a really transparent moment.
And now he's making that a goal for the next phase.
A major goal. And he's also asking his audience for input. He's asking his diehard fans to tell him what they want to see next.
That's a great move, shifting from his own needs to what the community wants.
Which shows a real evolution of the project. He also laid out the immediate schedule for the transition.
Right, before the big break.
Yeah, he's finishing out this week with his regular episodes. And he's even planned a mini-series to drop while he's away for a week over the holidays so the feed doesn't go silent.
Even his break is well planned. That says a lot about his dedication.
It really connects everything. You can't do a 365-day project without a deep understanding of energy management and clear boundaries. And a project of that scale demands a massive planned rest at the end.
That is a perfect way to put it. Sustainability isn't just about the day-to-day, it's about the entire cycle of work and rest.
Exactly.
So, to quickly recap our deep dive here, first we have the energy budget, the idea of aligning your most important work with your natural chronotype.
Second, the shutdown switch. That crucial 10-minute ritual to close down the mental loop so you can truly rest and recover.
And finally, we saw how those things apply to a huge, year-long creative project, and how planning for rest is just as important as planning the work itself.
Mastering your attention, setting boundaries, planning for the long haul. They're really three sides of the same coin.
Which leads us to our final provocative thought for you.
We learned that just planning a specific first step for tomorrow can quiet down your brain tonight. So the question is, which one small, concrete action will you take tonight to honor your own energy budget? Will you audit your peak time, set tomorrow's first move, or maybe just try saying shut complete for the first time?
Great food for thought. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.